What's up, Rube? It's beau-hindma here with another video. Today I'm looking at the Hexagear BA Loudgale. Loudgale being this monstrosity here. If you watched my other videos on Hexagear, this is pretty much like a bulk arm. The bulk arm being one of the other giant Rubits, but different, as you can see, way different. We'll go over some of those differences for a little bit, but let me go as per usual. I want to show you the instruction manual first. It's your usual really nice Hexagear instruction manual. It's got nice big pictures. Everything is very visible and easy. I wanted to show though one, and I marked this with an X to kind of give you an example. One of the issues I have with Hexagear, it's not a design flaw or anything. There's, I'm sure, a really good reason they do this way, but compared to one of the other 12 lines, one of the other lines in the 12 that I collect, and that's 1 in 144 scale HG gunpla kits, which are probably about as simple as they really get. Not only that, but the HG gunpla kits are also designed, especially nowadays, to be done simply. They're even getting to the point with the 30 minutes missions kits and stuff like that, to where you have a sprue like this, but everything on the sprue will be dedicated, let's say, to an arm or to a head or a gun or whatever. So you simply grab that sprue and you have it all right here. You can cut out and kind of, then you throw that sprue to the side. You might go back and forth on a few of them. Some of them will even be marked now with, instead of a letter, they're actually using a symbol for the part. So you'll have like a little gun symbol or a chest symbol or whatever. Hexagear does not do that at all. Hexagear, I wanted to show this just to give you an example. I had to get the D sprue, so I had to find that one, got it. And I put them all in order, as a lot of you do, you know, you put them in your box or whatever. Then I had to find a G, a U as an uncle, the Q. Q is easy enough to remember because it had all the little bendy bits on it. Then H. So each one of these is from a different, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different sprues I had to grab to make this small little part, if I can grab them here, this small little part in the front. Now, there are reasons for that, as I said, I'm sure, but you know, you'll find some parts similar. So there's an M sprue, but then you have to go back to I, and it's not a big deal, but Hexagear loves to do, it might be because their system is designed to be interchangeable. You know, it is designed to be swapped, the parts, that they're actually using a lot of sprues that come from other kits or something. I don't know, but I wish they would work on that, because when you have a large kit like this and you're going back and forth with all the sprues, you have them all in a box or a organizer or whatever, it really gets to be kind of annoying having to flop back and forth so much. This is a really interesting build. If you built the bulk arms, I'm sorry, or any other Hexagear kit, it feels the same, but it does just, there's a point where you kind of go, man, this is a little bit much, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's, as usual, the build is super fun. It's fun to see it go together and to understand the what they're trying to do with it. And then, as usual, you be sure to mark whenever you finish. Trust me, do this. I'm an older guy. I've been doing this for a long time. Mark and date, stamp, everything. Any little bit of information you can put when you finish the kit. It's just, trust me. Later you will just kiss me later when you say, oh, that's such a good idea. So after we look at some of the empty sprues and stuff, I'm gonna have to pause, and I'm gonna come back and with it transformed into a car. So it's kind of a neat transformable kit, I guess, but it's Hexagear, so you can transform it into anything anyway. Again, I love that they give these, look at that. It's a nice scene there. It's like in the desert. You know, it's just a really cool little, again, I've asked anybody who knows out there to kind of translate this for me. I think this is just a spare parts thing you get in every Hexagear, which is really neat. You know, you can order spare parts. These little postcards are great. I want to put them all, speaking of which, maybe that'll be a project for me today, is get all of them together and put them on a board, you know, like you know, showing off some of the stuff. As usual with Hexagear, you get a ton of extra sprues and parts. So these all go into my Hexagear box. What I tend to do, and that's why you're not seeing too many sprues that are huge here, is if, let's say, this whole section is empty, I'll actually trim off the section and keep that as long as I have a letter in there so I can remember what part it is. But I trim off the extra plastic and then I throw it in a giant box I have over there that has all of my recyclable sprues in it, and I've got to talk to my local, recycling facility, and see if they recycle sprues. You get these really kind of, I'm not a weapons dude. I don't do big weapons and stuff. It's just kind of, these kind of go in a big box, but I love their designs on it. Look at this one here. This is really cool. It actually, to cock it like that, it does it for him. Oh, it came off. I guess it slides off a little bit, but that's really cool. It's like a little extra little mechanical part. Well, how did it go in there? Turn it. There we go. It does it. It has this little arm that does it for you. I was wondering what that was going to be for. These are actually individual little rounds here. Look like a grenade launcher or something like that. So you can pull those little parts out. It's just got a ton of fun little things in it. And then the other weapon is just kind of your run-of-the-mill weapon with a little what's this called here? Ammo holster. What's it called? Oh my gosh, I can't even think. Why am I blanking on the word for this? But anyway, it has that, and I love that it always has, these kits always have little parts like that you can use to kind of illustrate the usability of the actual item. So for the actual model, it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I love everything about it, but it looks kind of goofy. But I'm going to point out something. And that is in the description of this video, you're going to find a link to a fighting robot. It's a small guy, not much larger than this. And in Japan, it's a big sport where they actually get them together and they fight. And it's not like the fighting robots you see over here in America on Mythbusters and stuff like that, where they're really small and squat. They don't do anything, they just roll around. These actually stand up and move. And I'm going to link to one who's a real champion over there. And what's really, I want you to notice is he uses kind of a similar setup. He has one set of wheels on a wide foot, and those wheels push him around. Now, granted, those wheels, they're using it on a smooth surface like this, so he's not going to do very well with it over a rough surface. But in a way, this design to me feels realistic. That's even something I can say, because you could see a bot like this being able to get around and turn around using it could go up hills, it could go down hills, it could just travel quite a bit faster, or maybe more flexibly, if that's a word, than if it was just walking around. Now, it's important to point out, you can remove these really easy. You can take off the wheels, and then you just have the regular legs that you can extend out and everything like that. But look at this, it has a spare wheel back here. It's so cool. And look at this little holder there. Isn't that neat? They always include nice little details like that. In fact, I think I got that backwards. I think this goes out. But anyway, so you can remove those extra wheels, but check out that robot in my description, the fighting robot, because the way he moves, he kind of rotates around like that. And I could see something like this actually being able to do that, in a lot of situations. And then if it couldn't actually roll around, it could always walk, using the standard leg thingy, or it could even use these wheels as legs in a way. And if you don't really kind of buy that, look at two-wheeled skateboards, those hoverboards they have now. Those are just commonplace. You find them in any store. You can buy one at Sears. And they're using a technology where this wheel can keep a whole thing up, because the computer keeps it balanced. So it's constantly doing this that we can't see. So only even just two wheels can make this guy move around pretty easily, especially if we're considering, or if we're allowing for technology of walking legs and stuff. So it's an interesting thing for sure. I'm not going to pull them apart too much, because what I want to do is take a break and trying to assemble him into the car. But you can really see some of the fantastic details. Of course, I got some nice gouges and stuff. I did want to point out too, though, that this little section here, if you take off his head, this section here is just oops. That is not supposed to work. It's just fantastic how it fits together. It's kind of hard to illustrate without just cracking it all apart, but Hexagear just always has really, really neat details in the way that stuff kind of starts to, you see it's all moving, and it's just really, really cool. The guy goes in there. So there's just so many neat little parts, and it just flows together really well. It's not perfect. It's a little bit too tight to be really, really, practical, I guess you'd say. But as you start to play with this, you realize, man, this is a really, really well done. It's kind of big and kind of dorky. As you can see, the legs are just ginormous, but you can do so much with them that I'm kind of like, this thing is genius. This thing is probably one of the best designed of the Hexagear kits I've found so far. Luckily, you can just pull the wheels off and it's not a big deal. You still have just the regular legs or whatever, and you can extend these out. So, all right, so let me take a pause here. I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna assemble this into the car, and let's see what we get out of it. Okay, so here it is. Basically transformed. You know, if you want to call it that. It's a pretty rough transformation. I probably have some of the stuff wrong. It is really finicky to do, but while you do it, what's really cool is you get to see all these neat little mechanics, like this whole section from the top folding down. You know, you get to see a lot of stuff like that. You know, these little parts moving. How it's done. It's really basically simple. You can see here what happened is the whole thing kind of squishes down, the legs spread out, the feet go up, and of course I've got to adjust to get a little more even or whatever, and this part kind of splays out. So it's not really a complicated transformation. It's more like just kind of finicky, and you know, but it does work. It looks cool as a car, I guess you'd want to call it that. You know, you've got to get it. You've kind of, being that these parts are held on mostly but just by tension right now, they're not really locking into place that I can see, unless I probably missed a step or whatever. You know, it's not the greatest of transformations. Kind of like the helicopter one, Steel Rain. Once you transform it, in the Steel Rain's case, it was once you transformed into the bot mode or into the, you know, like the walker mode, it was very, very, very loose and finicky, which I'll show you in a second. The same with this. As you can see, it's really kind of bouncy and, you know, but as with a lot of Hexagear, the idea is that there's a cool idea there. You can get it set up how you want, and then you can kind of leave it on your shelf displayed or whatever, but it's still a really neat kit. I kind of prefer the kind of straightforwardness of the regular old bulk arms, but this is definitely a really cool looking kit once it's assembled. I think I'll probably keep it like this for now, because we have so many you know, bot looking things on the shelf. So let's take it over there real quick and see what it looks like on the shelf. So you can see it there next to the other Hexagear stuff. This of course is not Hexagear, but let's just ignore that for right now. Just messing around. This is my new Hexagear shelf. I'm trying to kind of claim the space. Still got to clean it up. I still want to put I'm trying to figure out how I could put cool backdrops on each shelf. But there it is. It looks pretty cool. It's a bit, like I said, it's a bit, you know, floppy. I'll need to kind of adjust it or whatever. I don't know. I kind of might leave it in the car form and just get it nice and tight, you know, and put a little pilot in there or whatever. There's the Steel Rain, and what I was talking about is how finicky and kind of loose it is once it's in walker mode. But I kind of like how it looks at the same time. So it's definitely worth messing with the transformation and seeing what you get. But it does look a little bit, looks a little bit funny, but not bad. Will I keep it this way? Yeah, you know, why not? I kind of enjoy the car. I'll need to tighten up a lot, make sure I got all the parts locked in, and make sure it sits there well. One of these days I'm going to start pulling them down though, and I've really got to start washing and detailing these kits because they look fantastic. But my goodness, you're missing half of the details without paint or washing or, you know, weathering or anything fun like that. So anyway, that is the Loudgale. Really cool kit. I think very much so, I guess. Most people will actually be keeping it in the bot mode, more like a bulk arm like that. They just kind of tend to prefer that, but the car is cool. I don't mind it at all. It's kind of neat. So have a good one, everybody. I'll see you on the next one.